service of speaking. You have the service of hearing. But I'm also hearing what I have heard before. Hear it again. And what's the best way to remember it? Speak it. So this is a very important, integral part of our bhakti process. So we are gathered here for that. There are many sadhanas we can do. But hearing is very powerful. Why? Very easy. There are 9 main limbs of bhakti. The first is hearing. Why is hearing the first? Most of the limbs of bhakti you're doing on your own. No, you shouldn't do it on your own. Shravanam, you do it with the help of sadhu. And then the power of sadhu and the Guru Vargas helps you. Then, by that power, you chant. And by the power and the potency of chanting, you can automatically remember the Lord in your heart. And then from there, when you realize the Lord in your heart, there's external and internal path. The 4th limb of bhakti is pada sevanam. So how do we do pada sevanam? Internally, when you realize the Lord in your heart, then you can worship His lotus feet in your soul form. So this is the process that Narada Muni realized in his own life. Śrī Nārada Muni, he is the guru of even the devas. He is a liberated soul. He is able to travel in the Lord's abodes to see Lord Ram, to see Lord Krishna, to see Lord Vishnu, Vaikuntha planets, to help Indradev. He is topmost guru. In our parampara, Lord Brahma, the Narada. Who is Brahma? He's creator himself, first son of Lord Vishnu. So Narada is a very great soul. Narada Muni. How did he achieve perfection? If we can, right? Guru teaches you a pranali, a method. And what method do they teach you? How they achieve perfection themselves? So we have to hear what Narada Muni described to his first. He has many disciples, but in Bhagavatam, most important disciple, Ved-Vyās. Ved-Vyās is the compiler and author of all Veda Puranas, including Mahabharata. He's considered the Lord's literary incarnation. Even the Lord takes Guru. So Ved-Vyās Ji is described in first canto Bhagavatam, chapter 5, 6. Discussions with his Guru Narada Muni. Vyasadeva, after he wrote everything, all the sastra, he still wasn't satisfied. Here's a question. When do you become happy? Fully fulfilled and satisfied? When the Lord is satisfied. Yasmin tuste, jagat tuste. So he had not fully served and satisfied the Supreme Lord. He wasn't feeling satisfied. He prayed, his Guru appeared, Narada Muni. He honored his Guru, and Narada Muni said, "How are you? You are not looking so well." Chintit, that means you're looking concerned. Why are you concerned? You've given so much knowledge to this world. Why are you upset? He said, "Are you not happy? You've spoken about Brahman realization. You've spoken about how to achieve enjoyments in Swarga by your fruitive activities. You've spoken about so many devas and devis. Yet you're not happy?" He said, "Are you not happy helping people becoming more attached to their bodies and minds?" Speaking about so many topics. If you study Ved, Vedanta, Upanishad, Puran, so many branches of the, thousands of branches, thousands of paths. Are you not satisfied? He said, "Guru, or Narada Muni, just like you came here through the airways, through the air you are also entering in my heart. Pranavayu, Apanvayu, Vyan Saman, right? You came here from heaven or from Vaikuntha, I don't know where, you appeared here. in his ashram. He didn't walk there. Narada Muni is a celestial being. He appeared there. He said, in the same way you've appeared in my heart, so you must know the answer. But for my benefit, you're asking? So he said, oh Guru Maharaj, you tell me why I'm not happy. And Narada Muni said, oh my dear Shishya, you have said so many things. In this world, there's so many teachings. How to achieve self-realization. What is self-realization without God-realization? Anyone can tell me? What is self-realization without God-realization? So Narada Muni says, it's like, you have a little fishing boat, and you're in a huge ocean with stormy weather, and you're flying around here and there. So this is self-realization, no God-realization. You understand? Self-realization, who am I? It said, you want to know who you are, first know who your parents are. You have like an orphan kid who doesn't know his parents. Then he has identity crisis, right? I don't know who I am. What do you mean? You are you? You're standing there. I don't know who I am. Why? So how can you, self-realization without God-realization is no realization. And Narada Muni said, you've described so many gods and goddesses, but you haven't described who is Parameshwara, Supreme Ishvara. Say Parampita. But what do you mean? Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. This is in Mahabharata. He said something is there, but you haven't described his Leela completely, and therefore some people may still become confused. So Vedvyas said, okay, how should I describe that? He said, first you have to realize it in your heart. You can only speak from realization. So he said, what to do? He said, this is your process of sadhana. You must do dhyan and realize that in your heart. That's why when we get guru, what do? Guru gives mantra, and you chant the mantra and perform dhyan, meditation. When you chant japa, what are you supposed to do? Only Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? No, you're supposed to meditate on the Lord. Sadhana. Narada Muni said, without sadhana, you cannot achieve anything. Lord Brahma created through sadhana, tapasya. Lord Brahma, by the power of his tapasya, then Saraswati Devi gave mantra, and then by the power of doing meditation on that mantra, he realized the Lord. Narada Muni said, do you remember how I gave mantra to Dhruva? Dhruva was trying to realize the Lord. But without mantra, it's not possible. And who is giving mantra guru? He said you have to chant your mantra properly. And when Vedvyas did his mantra and through dhyan, he realized all Lord Krishna's pastimes. He was very happy. We need a personal sadhana. You understand? Shravanam, kīrtanam. Hearing, then practicing. Kīrtanam. And smaranam. So therefore, Narada Muni instructed, and after Narada Muni left, he did this dhyan. He realized all Krishna Leela, Krishna's desire, Krishna's instructions, and then he wrote down Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But before he did this, he asked Narada Muni, how did you achieve perfection? Please, tell me your story. All right? Because is it enough just to do Shravanam? Enough just to do Kirtanam? Enough just to do Smaranam? What did Narada Muni do? It's the beginning of Bhagavatam, main guru. So Narada Muni was merciful. He said, okay, I'll tell you. He said, I remember my last life. My last life, I was very fortunate that I served and I stayed with sādhus for 4 months during Chatumasya, rainy season. My mother was a dasi, and she would serve the sādhus in different ways. Bringing wood, bringing boga, cleaning, sweeping, who knows, so many ways. And he said, for 4 months I did Shravanam, I heard from them. At that time I was a young boy. He said, that was my sadhana. What was Prahlad Maharaj's main sadhana? Hearing from Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj also a disciple of Narada Muni. When he was in the womb of his mother, he heard hari-kathā for thousands of years in the Deva realm. It was the power of Shravanam. Right? Shravanam is the first limb of bhakti, and Shravan and Kirtan is the last also. This is in Vedanta. Right? Anavriti Shabdat, Anavriti Shabdat. Again and again, you hear. And what does Bhagavatam say? Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashinam. Again, at the end of Bhagavatam says, only Nam Sankirtan. So Narada Muni said, I heard from them, and I was in their kirtans. And one more ingredient, very important. He said, once, by their mercy, I took their remnants, their prasad. What is the power of that remnants? It builds two things. One is internal connection, and the other is a transference of their bhav, their mood. Right? Their mood comes. And if you're serving virakti, sadhu, then their mood of renunciation comes. So then Narada Muni said, what happened? When they left after these months, that attraction and attachment to the message of Godhead was so absorbed in me that I couldn't think of anything else. It's the power of sadhu sang. That there's a quote there that says, for someone who has once developed taste for the beautiful Lord, even if they fall down, nothing can compare to that. So very quickly, that will again come in their life and they will be delivered. Why? Krishna is so beautiful and sweet. No other practice can give you that sweetness and love. So it's easy to fall down and not get back up. But if you've relished the taste of the beauty and the service of Sri Krishna, even a little bit, how does that come? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Bhagavat prasad, the Lord's mercy, comes through his objects of mercy, the sadhus, the devotees. So Narada Muni took their prasad. He heard their katha, he did kirtan, and then that rati, attraction, came in his heart. And he said, I could not think about anything else. I became as if mad for that. This is, right? If you want to achieve perfection in any sadhana, you have to do it with effort, intensity. Therefore, what does the Bhagavatam say there in the beginning? Akama sarvakam mokshakam udharati tivrena bhakti yogena. You must practice bhakti with intensity if you want siddhi. Like Lord Brahma did, like Narada Muni did, Vyas did, all our gurus did. Narada Muni had another disciple, Valmiki. He was very sinful, dacoit. So he could not even chant the Lord's name directly. But yet Narada Muni said, continue chanting anyhow, even backwards. Mara, 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 Rama, but with intensity. Every day, do or die. Our Guru Maharaj would say like that. Karna or manna. Every day I eat food. So why should my soul not eat? If I don't feed my soul will be hungry and starving. So how do we feed the soul? Bhagavan names. Nothing is more powerful. Kali Yuga Kevala Nama Dhara. Very simple process. People want complicated processes. Right? Complicated people want complicated process. Bhakti is very simple and sweet. That's Nam and mantra. So, Narada Muni said, I was chanting, they gave me a mantra, and I was chanting that mantra and chanting that mantra. My mother wanted me to do this and do that and play. He said, I had no interest in anything else, even though I was a young boy. By the power of their prasad and their Shravan Kirtan, he said, by the providence, my mother passed away, bitten by a snake. And he said, as a young boy, I started wandering throughout all the cities and villages. I was wandering here and there. But what are we doing now? Narada Muni said, going here and there in the outside external world is not going to help you realize the Lord. He said, I became exhausted from wandering here and there, and I sat down. I bathed, I sat down, I took some water, and I practiced dhyan. What kind of dhyan? Not dhyan of, we say, okay, if I just do dhyan of nothing, then you'll get nothing. That's why Guru doesn't give you nothing. Guru gives you mantra. When you do dhyan, meditation, you're meditating on the mantra, and every mantra has a devata. And the devata is present in the mantra. By chanting the mantra, you are worshipping the devata. You can worship different devas and devis. You need their murti, you need this and that. To worship the Supreme Lord, He's in your heart. All you need is a mantra. So he said, I sat down and I chanted this mantra in a peaceful state. Like Krishna says in the Gita, you should sit down in a peaceful environment and chant your mantra. Right? Otherwise, taking prasad is giving you energy, protein. Hearing Shravanam is giving you spiritual strength. But at the end of the day, you also have to do your sadhana. Without sadhana, how will you achieve siddhi? So Narada Muni said, I did my sadhana. I sat down with a very peaceful mind. I did mantra. Dhruva Maharaj, for 6 months he did mantra, realized the Supreme Lord in his heart. The Lord appeared in his heart. Then he prayed to the Lord, please appear before me, and he appeared before him from within his heart. So Narada Muni said, I meditated on the Lord doing his mantra, japa, and very soon the Lord appeared as a vision within. And it said there, by God's mercy, I saw him along with my own swarup. It said every soul has their own perfect form. Bhagavat Deha. Not a material form like we think, right? Spiritual form. Dīkṣā kāle bhakta kare atma samarpan. Se kāle Krishna tare kare atma sama. Se deha kare tar chid anandamoy aprakrita de tar charana bajai. He had Guru Mantra, he had hearing, chanting, remembering, he had sādhus prasad, he did his sadhana, he achieved the Lord. He realized the Lord and his own swarup. Self-realization, God-realization go hand in hand. But you can endeavor for self-realization millions of lifetimes, but you may get it, may not get it. If you get God-realization, then God says, in order to realize me, you have to also realize yourself, because you cannot see me with your material body or material eyes. So Narada Muni said, I saw my own swarup, my own form, and the Lord. And he said, the beauty of that image completely captured my heart. I began to weep tears of ecstasy. Incessantly. Krishna says in Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matasmritir jnanam aponam cha virishta sarver ahamaiva vidyo vedanta krit veda vereva chaham. I am in every jiva's heart. That our Jiva Goswami Pad said, the Lord in his inconceivable potency has a swarup for each jiva. In the material universe, that's Paramatma. In the spiritual universe, it's Bhagavan. That it's not that there's one Bhagavan. There's one Bhagavan, but for every jiva, there's your own Bhagavan. Same Bhagavan, but one. Like Krishna can dance with millions of gopis, and they each experience Krishna's with them. At the same time, millions of cowherd boys, they experience he is with them. Said Krishna has lunch with the cowherd boys. And they each are experiencing, sharing, and having their meal with Krishna. And speaking and joking with Krishna. This is Bhagavan's potency. Right? So Narada Muni saw the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? That when people think, what will happen after I achieve perfection? There's millions of souls serving Krishna, and I'll have to wait in line. You know, like you go to Banka Bihari, and you have to wait 2-3 hours to see Banka Bihari, and then 10 seconds, and then close curtain. Tirupati, 2 days sometimes. You wait for the Lord's darshan. I've been to some temples in South India. Ranganathji. You wait for lines for hours and hours and hours, and then you pass by the altar, 10 seconds, and then chalo, chalo, chalo. So the spiritual world must be worse than that. This world is sadhana, but spiritual world, you have to wait in line for hours to see Krishna darshan. Said no, the Lord he manifests a form with each jiva, so that you can eternally relish that loving relationship. That life isn't complete without that. That is the bhakti yoga path. For the nirvanvadi, gyanvadi, muktivadi, okay, you may not realize that, but that is your misfortune. Right? So Narada Muni realized the form of the Lord by his own mercy. Bhagavat, it said prayujyamanam. That by the Lord's mercy, he saw his own form in the Lord's form by this process. Then the Lord disappeared. He said, oh, why have you disappeared? So it said that in sadhan, what comes is like swarup siddhi. First you realize your swarup internally with the Lord's, but then you still have to completely burn off all your anarthas. They may not be completely gone. Anartha means any material taint or contamination or abhiman left, ego. So Lord Vishnu said to you should continue your sadhana your whole life. What is that sadhana? So people have this idea. Sadhana means I just have to do dhyan all day now. By dhyan he saw the Lord, by his mantra? He said no. Shravan and kirtan. Continue. Anavriti shabdat, anavriti shabdat. Again and again. Hear. By hearing, what happens? That transcendental knowledge comes and it destroys ignorance. And by your sadhana, what happens? You are released from your bondage to samsara. So, Narada Muni said, my whole life I was engaged from that time. He said, the Lord gave me a veena. You see Narada Muni, right? He's always with his veena. He said, the Lord gave me a veena. He said, everywhere you go, do my kirtan. Everywhere you go, speak about me. So Narada Muni's life, he said, my whole life I did that. There's so many stories how he would meet people and encourage them to chant. One time, he met someone, very busy businessman, all day and night. I have no time to chant, no time to chant, no time to chant, no time to chant. He said, when you're going to the bathroom, you can chant. Because he had no respect for the Lord's name. I'm working, this is karma, 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 karma. You can do your karma for millions of lifetimes and not really realize the Lord. Dog is doing his karma, cat is doing his karma, every species is doing their karma and their dharma. That's not going to help you realize the Lord. You have to do Bhagavat dharma. So he said, okay, passing stool, passing urine, I'll chant your name. He was Ram Bhakti, chanted Ram, we heard the story. Hanuman came and kicked him. Stupid person, you're chanting my Lord's name while you're going to the bathroom. But the kick had no effect. Why God in his name is not different? So that evening Hanuman went to see Ram and he said, something very strange happened today. Your devotee was chanting your name while passing stool and I kicked him, but nothing happened. I am Hanuman, I kick the demons, you know. I can kick off the head of Ravan, but this foolish random person, I couldn't do anything. But Ram was in bed saying, oh, my back hurts. He said, oh, Hanuman, you kicked me. I am not different from my name. My devotee is chanting my name. That is the power of the name. Nam namakari bahudani sarva shaktis. The Lord manifests through his name. So powerful. Everywhere Narada Muni went, anyone he met, he said, chant the name. Then, by the power of chanting the name, if you're fortunate, right, we are not always in sadhu sangha, every day you're hearing shravanam. But every day, any time you can chant. Why is it important that even when you're going to the bathroom, you can chant? Not that we do that. What is the important point? This is a material body. The soul is not connected to the material body. Material body is doing its material kriya functions. The soul is transcendental. Understand? In this world, we're thinking, this activity I can connect to God, this I cannot. But that's not, Tivrena Bhakti Yona means 24 hours a day you're remembering the Lord or connected to the Lord. You understand? This is the problem of Vaidhi Bhakti and, any Madhurya Bhakti, the gopis, is the topmost bhakti. Why? Because 24 hours a day, all their senses, all their heart and soul, everything is for Krishna. This is the essence of the Bhagavatam. Why there are many Purans that give many teachings, but the gopis, it said 24 hours a day, they don't separate from Krishna for an instant. In material world, the businessman said, I have no time for God. When I'm going to the bathroom, I have time for God. Okay, at least you give that much time. Narada Muni is so merciful. Valmiki said, no, you can't chant Ram, chant death. Mara means death. Mara became God, God's name. Why? God is also death for the atheist. This is in Veda Sastra. That said, for the atheist, God is death. What does Krishna say in Gita? Kalosmi lokakshay krit pravriddho. Right? So no problem. If that's all you can do, at least do that. But the gopis are the opposite. Everything, A to Z, why should I separate anything from Krishna? There's another example of Lord Chaitanya. Day and night he was chanting. Day and night. So there was a little boy named Gopal. And in Jagannath Puri, one time Lord Chaitanya was going to pass urine. And he was holding his tongue. And the boy said, oh Lord, why are you holding your tongue? He said, my tongue is so restless, it won't stop chanting Krishna's name. But I'm doing this lower activity, I don't want to chant his name during this. And the boy said, but Lord, when we're dying, sometimes naturally your body is emptying, bowels are emptying. Right? You're passing urine in a stool. So at that time, if we don't chant God's name, then how will we go to God? You understand? We have to worry, oh, I'm dying, I'm unclean. That body it's inside of you, it's outside of you. What's the difference? At least it's going out. Right? You're getting clean. It's going out. Material body is clean, not clean. The soul is clean. And how do you purify the soul? You chant God's name. So Mahaprabhu said, very good. Right? No problem. Any condition we can chant. Not that we're recommending this. But look at Lord Chaitanya. The gopis, day and night, they're always thinking of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna very quickly appears to them. Very quickly. This is what Narada Muni said. He said, by the sadhu's mercy, that there was not a moment that I was not absorbed in my Ishtadev, my Lord. Then very quickly the Lord appears. That is our message, nah? There's a verse in Gita, 6th chapter. There's a direct meaning and deeper meaning. Very important verse. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chestasya kardamashu, yukta swapnava bodhasa yogo bhavati dukahar. How to achieve yoga. And direct meaning means balance. Yukta ahara, balanced diet. Yukta vihara, balanced recreation. Yukta chesya, balanced activities. Yukta swapna, balanced sleep. What is the deeper meaning? Yukta means connected to Krishna. Yoga means connection. Yukta ahara, what you eat, offer to me. Then it becomes Annamaya Brahma. Yukta ahara, yukta vihara. The gopis are dancing with Krishna. Why are you doing any recreation separate from Krishna? This is the problem with different, there's levels, right? Oh, I'll go to the mandir and worship Thakurji. Afterwards, I'll go back to my family, watch movie, play the game, this and that. Then your vihar, your calm and your desires, you're doing separate from Krishna. No, also offer that to Krishna. Yukta chesta, your karma, your work, also offer that to Krishna. Our Guru would say, any work you do, you offer the 1% to Thakurji. Then you use for your maintenance. Then it's yukta chesta, yukta karma, yukta swapna. You're sleeping. It said our Goswamis, when they're sleeping, they're only thinking of Krishna, therefore they have dreams of Krishna. Raghunath Goswami, Chappan danda ratri dine janina Rādhā Govinda vine. 23 and a half hours a day, he's awake, chanting Krishna's name. Then when he's sleeping, he's also thinking of Krishna. Then dreaming of Krishna. It said 22 and a half hours a day. He would be chanting, remembering, reading, serving, parikrama, any activity, eating, thinking of Krishna. Then he was sleeping, also dreaming of Krishna and their service. Right? Then yukta swapna. Why aren't you, when you're sleeping, you're not thinking of Krishna? 24 hours a day. This is what our gurus would say. You're either chanting the name or remembering the Lord. Don't separate yourself from Krishna at any moment. Oh Lord, I am yours, you are mine. Please bring me to you. Very easy. Then Krishna said, oh, yes, this is the process. So Narada Muni said, very good. Yoga bhavati dukkha. When you achieve that yoga, then all suffering automatically disappears. Like when the sun comes up, all the darkness disappears. So that is yoga. Therefore Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam. Satata yuktanam. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, this is Bhagavad Gita. Satata yukta means always connected. Then he says about kirtan, satatam kirtayantomam. He doesn't say 5 hours a day do bhakti and then 19 hours a day don't do bhakti. But how do you do bhakti when you're at work? Everyone has to go to work. How do you do bhakti when you're at work? Offer it to Krishna. Prabhu, this is for you also. Nothing is stopping you, right? It said that the mind is always running. The mind doesn't turn off. And when you're sleeping, if you're in deep sleep, it said deep sleep is, you're already with Brahman. But the mind doesn't stop. So you have to connect it somehow or other. By hook or by crook, by cheat, by some mechanism or another, you have to realize that, right? Like I said in the beginning, there's Bhagavan expands for every jiva. That's Paramatma. And then when you achieve perfection, that becomes Bhagavan. So you have eternal relationship, but he is now witnessing because you are only absorbed in Maya. But when you turn inward and see the Lord as your Ishtadev, then very quickly he will reveal himself to you. So now I'll tell one Braj story. Narada Muni said this is the process. somehow or other, you have to become fully Krishna conscious. What is full Krishna consciousness? Lord Chaitanya talks about the gopis. Again, 7th verse, Shikshastakam. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshus pravishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena. This is the gopis' moods. Without you, Krishna, this world is empty. You understand? That nothing holds any meaning, that you are the substance, sum and substance of everything for me. 10th canto of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada calls it samam bonam, the sum and substance. Without you, everything is void. Chatushloki Bhagavatam, 7th verse says, anything you cannot connect to Krishna, that is Maya. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani. What do? Oh, I cannot connect my calm to Krishna. My own independent desires, my desire to enjoy, I cannot connect to Krishna. So I have to hide and separate that from Krishna. Then how are you Krishna conscious? Offer it also to Krishna. Let it be purified by the mercy of Krishna. Krishna, everything is, you are always seeing everything. There's a verse, Hari-hi nirguna shakshat purusha prakriti parasa sarvadrik upadarsta tambajam nirguno bhavet. That Krishna is sarvadrik. You cannot hide from Krishna. You think, I will hide in the corner somewhere and do Maya without Krishna seeing. No, Krishna, I am in Maya. I am looking at your Maya. You are witnessing. Please, you purify me. I am in Maya. This is your Maya. It's very powerful. But I should see you even within that. And you should, quickly deliver me from this desire and this tendency. Right? In Christianity, what do? Confession. You confess your heart and your sins to the Lord, and then He says, no problem. Bachai. So you confess to your Paramatma and your heart. He said, I am already. You have to confess it to me. I already know. But what is it doing? Bring you closer, bring you closer, bring you closer, bring you closer, bring you closer. Hare Krishna. More and more and more. So, I'll tell one Braj story. Very sweet. When Srimati Radhika was very young, and Krishna was also young, 7, 8. It said Radharani, she saw Krishna when she was baby in Barshana. Afterwards, she didn't get a chance to see Krishna. Only she heard the name of Krishna. And just hearing the name of Krishna, she offered her heart to Krishna. This is the power of Krishna's name. Radharani would say, how much sweetness is in the name Krishna. There's a very beautiful song, Chandidas. Prabhuji maybe knows, na? So keva sunailo shamanam. So keva sunailo shamanam. Radharani told her friend, Lalita Sakhi, the Vishaka, oh Sakhi, that simply hearing that name, Krishna, I have offered my heart to Him. That's what we're doing, right? Krishna. Just His name is so sweet. If I were to see Him, what would happen to me? Such is the power of His name. So one time, Radharani developed attraction to Krishna through the name. This is described by Rupa Goswami Pad. She had not seen. One day, Purnamasi Devi, a guru in Braj, elderly lady, sannyasi, she is disciple of Narada Muni. So she came to Braj before Krishna was born. She saw Radharani's condition. She is chanting his name and very, attached, 24 hours a day thinking of Krishna. So Purnamasi told Vishaka, Radharani's friend, make a picture of Krishna. Make a picture of Krishna and give Radhaji. So Vishaka went and was making a picture. In the meantime, Vishaka is making a picture of Krishna. And in the meantime, Krishna plays his flute. Radharani hears Krishna's flute. And when she hears Krishna's flute, that sound of Krishna's flute enters her heart and makes her mad for that. Who is that flute player? That sound of that flute, that message has entered my heart and made me mad. In the meantime, Vishaka Devi comes and gives her a picture. So we chant Krishna's name. Sadhana, we are chanting Krishna's name. Then what is the flute? Said the flute is Krishna's mantra and hari-kathā for us. Krishna's flute is kling. That's the seed. Kam Gayatri is its swarup. And Krishna's flute is carrying his message that manifests in this world through this pure hari-kathā of sādhus like Bhāgavatam. So you hear that, oh, hear it, it comes in your heart. And then what do? You chant Krishna, 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 and meditate, hear, right? Shravanam, hearing. Chanting his name is kirtan, but hearing is like that flute. So it said Radharani heard Krishna's flute and entered her heart. And she became mad. She could not think of anything but Krishna. And she thought, this flute song is, there's the name and there's the flute. This is two things. So then Vishaka Devi gave her a picture of Krishna. Said, here's your Sham. And it said Radharani saw that picture and she didn't know. She said, Vishaka just gave a picture. She didn't know who is the person in that picture. Radhaji is looking at the picture and immediately, because this is Krishna, her heart is attracted to him. So then she began to lament and cry. She said, oh, Lalite, Vishake, what to do? Now my heart is divided into three places. Krishna's name, that name Krishna, that flute, who is that flute player? And who is this person in this picture? Alas, alas, I am unchaste. I should give up my life. Said, I cannot achieve the Lord of my life. I will enter into the Jamuna and give up my life. She said, if I give up my life in any moment, why? I cannot tolerate not finding this person, meeting this person. So what should I do? If I give up my life, you should wrap my arms around a tamal tree. Because it looks like my Krishna. And in that way, my life heirs. Everything will be for Krishna. So Radharani is saying like this. Where is that Sham? Where is that Sham? Kaha jao, kaha pao, Brajendra Nandan. Without him, I cannot live. Why? It said that the soul and Bhagavan have an eternal relationship of love. Prem. What is prem? That through our sadhana bhakti, then prem, that divine love, begins to grow in the heart. What is that prem? That prem begins, there's a bhav, a mood. Every prem relationship has a specific bhav. Like Mother Yashoda's prem for Krishna is not the same as Radhaji's prem for Krishna. She has prem, it's prem, right? No one would say Mother Yashoda does not love Krishna. But the nature of love is a different bhav. It's called Vatsalya bhav. So Radharani's bhav, Madhurya bhav, Madanatya Mahabhav. So many bhav. So therefore that prem is very intense. So it said for us, when we are doing our sadhana, Krishna's name, hearing about Krishna, and then seeing the murti, that there's dhyan, meditation, but without the murti, how are you going to realize Krishna? That's why we worship murti. This is the lesson from Srimati Radhika. Otherwise, you can say just meditate on God, you don't need an image, right? Vishaka gave her a picture. That's why I'm telling you sadhana. Here we have picture. Is this Krishna, is this Radha? Yes. Why not? Why not? It said that love made, you worship Śrīla, and this is Bhagavan, because of your prem. The Lord appears through prem, love. Right? Bhagavan is prem kabikari, only beggar for prem. So it said that Radharani saw the picture of Krishna. This is why we meditate on Krishna's picture. Picture, murti, and we serve that. There's another story of Radharani that said that when Krishna left Braj, this is a later story, actually Satyabhama, she worshipped the murti of Krishna. And one time, Krishna, very trickily, he moved the murti and he stood there in the place of the murti. Why? Satyabhama and Rukmini had a rivalry, and when Satyabhama came to Dwarka, Rukmini sent her away into a forest. She said, don't let Krishna see her. He'll become attracted to her. So Rukmini, she showed, oh, you're my friend, I'm your friend, you should go into this area. And so Satyabhama was living like an ascetic, doing tapasya in the forest, and she had a murti of Krishna. And one day Krishna, by hook or crook, went there, and he told his friends, move the murti. Go put the murti over there, hide it somewhere. And Krishna stood as the murti. Same pose, same form. And Satyabhama came and she was worshipping the murti. And as she's worshipping the murti, Krishna caught her hand, began to speak with her. She was thinking this Murti is now Krishna, and she became very shy, and her love manifested. So it said, Murti is very important. What did Radharani say when she got this picture? She wrote a letter to Krishna. This is very beautiful. Rupa Goswami says this. Radharani wrote a letter to Krishna. She has still not seen him directly. Why? This is for us as sadhakas. Who has seen Krishna directly? Anyone raise your hand? You haven't seen Krishna directly? Mataji has seen. Haribo. Jai. Rādhā Priya Mataji ki Jai. See Krishna directly. Very nice. All right? Right, he is here, no problem. He's in your heart. You meditate, you can see him. It's like Krishna is not different from his name, so you chant your name. But seeing him directly means you see Krishna directly like Narada Muni saw Krishna. Then like Narada Muni, hair standing on end, shivering, tears. Then your life, very quickly, material life finished, then Gopi Deya. Narada Muni saw his own Swarup, Krishna's Swarup, but then very happily, so yes, we have seen. But it said Radharani, she's seen his picture, heard his name, heard his flute. But she wrote a letter then to Krishna. She said, "Oh Krishna, that you are very chatur, very naughty. That I saw your picture, but what did you do? You came out of your picture and you entered into my heart." Right? To realize the form dhyan, you said by dhyan you can realize the Lord, but without the murti, how are you going to do dhyan? Right? We have material senses, eyes, ears, taste. We need therefore engage the ears, engage the eyes, engage the tongue, right? This is what Narada Muni said. In 11th canto Bhāgavatam, Krishna told Uddhava, worship my murti. Why? Then you develop attachment to that. You see the Lord like that. It said any murti you pick, and you worship that murti, that one murti, you take one picture, and day and night you worship that in your mind, then that will become Bhagavan for you. Right? That's why each Goswami has their own Thakurji. Radha Vallabha is Radha Vallabha. Radharaman, Gopal Bhatt, Radharaman. We have our Thakurji Radharaman. Then that is your Ishtadev. You cannot have many Ishtadevs. Radharani was thinking, I am unchaste. I have 3 Ishtadevs. The flute player, the name, and the image. Lalita Vishaka said, Are Pagali. Ye sab tera sham hai. This is all your sham. Is one. The Narada is peaceful. Oh, my sham is one. So you have to develop this attachment. Right? There's an example in Indian culture that when they had a young girl will get married to a boy she has not met. Arranged marriage. And what will they do? The other family, they'll discuss with astrologers and gurus who is her life partner, right? Soulmate. Not that you'll put him with any guy. Who is her soulmate, lifelong partner? So they do everything, they study, they discuss, gurus, everyone, the families, they may take years, and they find out this is the person. Before they arrange that the boy and girl will meet, the in-laws family will send a picture to the girl. Ye tera pati hai. Iska aradhana karo. This is your husband, worship this, right? And she'll begin to worship that picture, right? Cook, clean, this, thinking. One day I'll meet him. So said we worship Krishna like that. You need a picture. And you worship and meditate. Then that picture enters your heart. This is what Radharani is saying. In her letter she wrote Krishna. Oh Krishna, you are so restless that you could not stay in the picture. You understand? Krishna, your Murti, Krishna, anyone see in Braj Krishna ever standing still? Krishna's ever standing still? For Satyabhama, he said, he became the Murti. So Radharani said, I saw that picture of you, but you're so naughty, you jumped out of the picture into my heart. And then that's not enough, Radharani said, you're so restless that anywhere I go, you jump out of my heart and you are there in front of me. In the tamal tree, in the cloud, anywhere I go, she said, you never leave me alone. This is Krishna's nature. That said, once that Krishna comes in your heart or you develop that relationship, he won't leave you alone. There's one guru, Ganga Mata Goswami, one lady, she was in Puri, Krishna Bhakta, Virakti, renounced. One sadhu had a dream and Krishna, he told him, I don't want to stay with you, go and give me to Ganga Mata, Goswamini. There was a sadhu who worshipped the Krishna deity. He said, I don't want to stay with you. She's doing my bhajan long time. She has no murti. So the sadhu went, this is in Puri, to Ganga Mata and said, this Krishna came in my dream, said, give me to you. So he said, I don't want to worship that Krishna, I worship Radhaji. I'm only a devotee of Radharani. I don't need your Krishna, tell him to go away. So then the sadhu went away and thought what to do. And then Krishna came in his dream. Follow my instruction. Why are you following her instruction? He said, go and put my murti in her garden. She had a tulsi garden. She did bhajan in tulsi garden. She's Radharani Sakhi. Sham. I have no relation with Sham. Sham is Chanchal. Me Radhaji ko Radhan. I am worshipping Radhaji. I am Radharani Kinkari. So what happened? Krishna said, put me in the garden. So she went and put the murti in the tulsi garden. The sadhu. And then when this Ganga Mata Goswami, old lady, like Radha Priya age, right? She's in the garden picking tulsi and Krishna caught her skirt. Hey, I came for you. Worship me. Worship me. Then she said, okay, what can I do? You came, so she, put him on the altar and began to worship him. So this Thakurji Puja is very important. By worshipping the deity form, Bhagavan appears in your heart. Otherwise, how are you going to do dhyan? It said that the goal isn't only to do external, like that worship. The goal is to realize here and everywhere. But if you have no love, if you have deity, you develop love. And if you have no love, you won't worship the deity. Love for God, then you worship Him, He appears in deity form. I cook for you, I feed you, I bathe you, I fan you. Right? And then he said, so rather than he said, you enter my heart, and then anywhere I go, you're there. Krishna is smiling, what to do? So there's a long story, how when Krishna meets Radharani, then her bhav and prem becomes man. She says, don't come near me, don't look at me, don't touch me. This is Radharani's mood. It's very sweet. There's so many stories like this. But the point for us is, what is good for our life? How are we going to do, when we're doing Nam, the Lord's name, then what comes after the name? Roop. The Lord's form. So therefore, we meditate on the Lord's form. And how do you meditate on the Lord's form? Murti, picture. Radharani said, this is the way that Krishna will enter your heart. But for us, we pray for Srimati Radhika's mercy. If she is merciful, then very quickly we can realize Sham. Why? Sham is always running behind Srimati Radhika. Right? So our gurus would say, Radhika dasi jadi hoya biman shigrinai milai tava gokulakan. What is the use of your independent dhyan that cannot capture Krishna? So when we do dhyan, we worship Radha Krishna together. Right? This Ganga Mata Goswami, only Krishna came. She said, why should I worship you? Bring Radhaji, then I'll worship you together. So the Goswamis all established Krishna deities. Then Janava Mata said every deity of Krishna must have Radharani there. So when we bring Krishna in our heart, we worship Radha and Krishna together. Then Krishna will never leave us alone. Why? We worship the divine couple together. Jugal Jodi. Right? Only worshiping Krishna, 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 Krishna. How? When will He come? Only when you have pure love. Where is pure love? Radharani is that pure love. Without her mercy, and Lord Shiva said to Parvati, Aradhananam sarvasham Vishnu aradhanak param tasvat parataram devi tariyanam samarchanam. This is the secret of the Veda. Everyone wants to worship Vishnu or Krishna, but Krishna himself is always worshipping his beloved Srimati Radhika. Therefore, Vina Radha prasadena mat prasadana abhidite. Krishna does not give his mercy unless Radharani blesses you. So we all worship and pray for the service of Srimati Radhika. If she is pleased, then Krishna is very pleased. And bhage bhage aayega. Running, like we heard Prabhuji sing very sweetly. She'll come running, Krishna will come running. So we pray to them both. This is the main thing we're saying now. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan. In good association of sadhus, you hear about Krishna, chant Krishna's name, worship Murti. Shraddhaya Shri Murtir Sevan. Very important. Swami Prabhupada established ISKCON. Everywhere, what did he do? Not just, yoga, meditation. No, Ishwar Aradhana. You worship the Lord. When you are qualified, you can do it in the heart. If I'm going to close my eyes and worship you in my heart, what do you do? Your mind is crazy. How are you going to conquer and control your mind? Therefore, with your body and your senses, you worship the Lord. Arti, Kirtan, Bhoga, 24 hours a day. Then your heart and your mind becomes purified. Then you can realize the Lord in your heart. This is Radharani's own teaching. The name, the Murti, Then the flute. What is the flute song? Hearing. So I pray everyone, we can follow this process and very quickly achieve the goal of life, Krishna Prem. Vancha kalpa tarupasya kripa sindhuvevacha patidanang pavanebhyo vaishnave bolo Rādhā Rani ki jai. Brajendra Nandan Shama Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. Bolo jai jai Shri Radhe Shyam.